Hello everyone and welcome. Again, like just a little joke with Jason's Macintosh Museum. Sorry about that, can't control myself. So today I'm going to be showing you this guy. I already showed this guy here working, right? And today I'm going to show you the internals. So what's inside of this little guy here. So as I showed you before in the previous videos, this is a Macintosh SE, of course, case, but inside we have a Pentium one board PC, the UDO X85 project, and there is an LCD display inside as well, and it's all mounted in the actual glass, CRT glass of the previous, the original Macintosh SE. So this project is something that I worked on for a while in the past. I have, after finishing it, I just left it aside. I actually use this from time to time. It's running Ubuntu, and it works very well. Like everything works, Wi-Fi works, and the sound works, the monitor works, everything works fairly well. The problem that I'm having right now is the Bluetooth is not working, and if I'm not mistaken, the reason being I have forgotten to connect the antenna cable in the board. So I'm just going to check it now, and since I have to open it up, I'm going to show you how it looks from the inside. So all the adaptations and everything that I had to do in order to fit that board tightly into this case here. And I'm also going to show you how the screen has been constructed, how I made this. So then you're going to see it. So let me just double check to see. Yeah, it looks okay. So I'm just checking the camera to see if the quality of the image is okay. So I'm going to basically open this up. And for that, of course, I need the right tools. I don't remember exactly what is the torque screw size of this particular guy. So let's flip it down. So again, just taking the chance here to show you like the back of it. So in the back we have the power outlet, we have two USB ports, we have the power button, and everything else got basically covered. There is just black plastic here, and there is also an Ethernet port here, and an SD card slot here, hot glued into this. So that's how it looks like. So let's see, let me just put this in a way that it doesn't scratch or anything like it. So let me get the proper torque screw bit. Yeah, this one, luckily enough. So let's, it's only like 4 screws, so there's 2 screws here in the bottom, and then 2 screws inside of the handle. Remember, whenever you are dealing with those old Macs or any other old computer for that matter, to never over tight those screws, because the plastic is very brittle and eventually it is going to break. Okay, so those are off. Let me see if the focus, yeah, it looks okay. So let's remove the last 2 screws here. Let me actually need a little more space. Yeah, that looks okay now. So you need a long screwdriver actually to reach those 2 screws in the handle here. Okay, they are coming off nicely. Okay, so let me put them aside, and that's pretty much it. Like once you remove them, the case should be ready to go. It's different than, for example, the Mac Plus it has like a battery compartment here, so you have to actually remove the compartment, and there is a screw inside, so just be careful with that. The SC doesn't have it. Okay, there we go. So I have to be careful here because I don't remember how I actually laid the cables. I don't want to unplug anything by mistake. And there is plenty of cable here. So this is the inside of the machine. So let me just put this aside. So let me explain for each of those cables what it's doing. So this is basically, let me see, so this is the power cable, right? So the power supply is actually on the bottom. So I'm going to turn it and I'm going to show you. So this is the screen, as you can see. So this is a Chinese LCD screen. It has already stereo speakers built into it. It has a variety of ports. I'm using HDMI, but it has also like composite ports as well, and VGA. It's powered by a 12 volt DC power supply. So I'm going to show you that. And as you can see here, I actually used some very strong vinyl adhesive to actually glue this with the actual glass of the monitor. There is also some hot glue happening inside here. It's not going to be showable because this vinyl here is already like wrapped into it, and it's almost impossible to get this off. It's basically the one that you use to wrap up, like for example, automobiles and this sort of stuff. So you have to use like a heat gun, and then it takes the shape of the element, and then it really ties it up very neatly. So yeah, that's what I'm using to actually make this this strong bond. What else? The board is, as you can see, this little guy here. So it's a very tiny board, and this is the UDO X86 project. Basically, so this was available at Kickstarter, and I'm not sure, but I think if you go to their website, you can actually buy this now. What I like about this board is that it's a Pentium board, and it has 8 gigs of RAM, so it's very powerful actually. In my opinion, much better than the Raspberry Pi for this sort of project. At least it gives you a variety of other options, like running Windows 10, for example, and more sophisticated operating systems. So I found this to be a better fit for this particular project. The case is actually glued. I think actually no, this is actually screwed into the metal plate in the back here. So it's that's the way it is. So this is the Ethernet port. It's just like a patch cable that connects to the board. This is the SD slot card. So basically it connects also to a board. So this is an SD extensor basically, and it just connects to the board. So it goes. Yeah, I'm not going to rip it off just to show you. You know how this works, right? Let me show you the power supply if I can, because this actually got, it was a little bit of a headache to get this to work properly, because the problem here is you have to power up 2 things. I need to power up not only the monitor, but also the board, right? And luckily enough, the board is also operating at 12 volts, which means a single power supply here did the trick, right? So I have here this breakout cable, basically. It's not really a breakout cable, it's more like a splitter that I connect to this, the original power supply, and it basically gives me like a whole bunch of additional ports. So I'm only using 2 of the remaining like 5 available here. Of course, it's way too much, but that was the cable that I had at the moment. I had actually, now I have one that is only 2. So I don't know if I'm going to swap it, and might just leave it as it is. It is working just fine, so I'm not going to touch it. But in the future, I could actually swap this with only 2 ones, so it save up some space internally here, even though like I'm never going to use the bottom, the base space here. So what else? That's pretty much it. Like, and then there is only like some extensions running from the what I did here is I connected, as you can see, it's a regular plug here going, right? So it's an extension cable basically that goes all the way inside the case, and it finishes up in the back where I screw this in, so it looks almost like original. That's pretty much it. Like, there is not much else to talk about. So what I'm going to do now is basically try to figure out where the Bluetooth antenna is located in the little board, and I'm going to attach the cable to it. Probably I'm going to bind the cable to the metal surface here, so it gives him like more area, and that should solve the problem with the Bluetooth, hopefully. And that's pretty much it. Like, this project is basically done. I'm not going to do anything else here. I'm just going to close this up after finishing with the Bluetooth, and I'm done, really. So I have the keyboard, I have the mouse already. I had demonstrated that in the previous video, and that's pretty much it. This project is done, concluded, right? So hope you enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure like some of you guys were curious to see how I put this together. Now you know. The monitor or the screen, I'm going to actually give the details about it on the YouTube link, so you get to see that. If you're going to do a project like this screen, it's more suitable if you can find like a 4:3 ratio screen. It's just because that's the way that the actual, like opening for the screen is in the original Mac. If you get modern screens that has a ratio of 16:9, for example, it's not going to fit that nice, and then you have on the bottom and on the top you have those the letterbox effect is really not that great. It doesn't look very nice. So I think the challenge is to find a suitable screen that has the proper ratio for you to actually fit in this sort of case. But again, I'm going to pass you the link so you can just look at it and buy one if you need, or if you're into this sort of project. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and that's all we have for today. Thank you, and see you next time.